In today's video, we're going to be going over some amazing fragrances that I will continue to feature as long as they make them. Reason being is because I like these a lot. I think that they provide exactly what we're looking for when it comes to selecting a good fragrance, right? It checks all the boxes, each of these do. And we're going to go through each one by one, of course, and I'll kind of explain why I think that and just what I like about each of these, go through the note breakdowns and all of that stuff. But I want to hear from you first. What are some fragrances that you have in your collection that you will continue to wear and repurchase for as long as you're able to? You know, we all have some scents that just sit there and never get worn. We're not talking about those today. I want to hear from you. What are some of your most used scents, some ones that are heavy in your rotation that you'll buy and wear until they stop making them? Because I know these are some of mine and I have quite a few more as well. Now we're actually going to start off with one that more likely than not will go away at some point, but it's not right now. You can get it for a great price right now, usually $25 to $30. John Varvatos Artisan Blue. And the reason why I think that this is going to go away is just because of the past history of basically just about every other artisan scent, really. At least the older ones, Artisan Aqua and Artisan Black and a few others, and not even just artisans, but some of the other older John Varvatos, you know, Dark Rebel Rider, and all of that stuff, right? At some point, those have been discontinued over the years, and I think that this one will probably also follow that trend. This one has basil, pine, cedarwood, geranium, and some lavender in here, along with many more notes. The note breakdown on this is huge. And I've said this before, but this is more of a green scent in my opinion. Now, it's named blue. It very much has a blue bottle. I don't want you to mistake this for a blue fragrance. I think that that's an easy thing to do nowadays. But when this was released, you know, the blue fragrance thing wasn't really nearly as big as it was now. So that wasn't so much an issue then like it is now. And I've also said this, but I think they could have gotten away with naming this Artisan Green and put in a really cool green looking bottle. And I think it would have also made probably more sense, because when you smell this, you'll understand what I mean. You get like a green mintiness from that geranium, the pine, the lavender, all of the other aromatic notes lend to more of a green type of smell. Now, maybe you can pull a little bit of a watery accord from this or something, and maybe that's where the blue is coming from. Not 100% sure, but again, that's where I stand on this one. This is basically a spring and early summer oriented scent. Now, when it comes down to the dog days of summer, this would still work. I would probably be choosing something else, but again, you could use this one. I think it smells more like the season of spring. When everything is greening back up and coming back to life, that's kind of when I think about Artisan Blue. It's such a good price, 125 ml. I love everything about this, and it's kind of a nostalgic scent for me. It's one that just, I don't know, it just has this classic smell. It's so easygoing, so versatile. The only downside is performance lacks on most of these, so that's a bummer. Now, you can spray it on heavily when you first apply it, and I would also just say to use it in situations where you don't need all day wear. You know, if you're just running and doing a couple things and that's all you need, and then you can reapply when you get back home, that's when you could go for this one. It's just a nice casual scent that requires no thought at all. Alrighty, this next one is going to be Hugo Boss Bottled Absolute. This is, I mean, at least in terms of new designer releases, it's one of the very best that we've had in the past couple of years, I would say. And that's not just me thinking that. If you look, I mean, this really developed a cult following pretty quickly. I mean, really, it's all about the myrrh and the tonka bean, patchouli combination. Smooth, ambery, smoky, rich, mysterious, seductive even. There's just so much about this one that, man, it smells great. And it's such a change of pace as far as new designer releases go, where yes, it's obviously sweet, right? But it's not sweet in the overly youthful way, you know, like the bubblegummy chestnut type of sweetness that we're often used to with newer fragrance releases. This is kind of going really completely against that. And Boss Bottled Elixir also did as well. And the two are pretty similar. This one is just basically taking Boss Bottled Elixir and reworking it and making it even more strong, even more, rich and heavy, and just, again, just taking that DNA and making it better, honestly. And I love Boss Bottled Elixir, but between the two, Absolute would be my pick, although there are going to be people who might prefer Elixir, given that it is actually just maybe a little bit lighter, and maybe that would mean a little bit more wearable for you in particular. Now, this one's pretty new. I mean, last year's release, I believe, right? 2024. And so I don't expect this to be going anywhere anytime soon, although I definitely wouldn't put it past them to discontinue it at some point years and years down the road. That's not anything I would be worried about right now, but just, again, you can look at past data and see the trends that stuff like that does happen. I want to interrupt the video really quickly because there's actually something pretty cool that you can get right now. It's a 120 ml Creed. It's Bois de Portugal. This is not part of the list, but I wanted to throw it in there because you can't get the 120 mls anymore anywhere, but it's in stock right now. I'll link it down below. It's full presentation, so it does come with the box and a cap. Mine is a tester, but this is what you're going to be getting, man. And like I said, you can't get the 120s anymore, at least not for a good price. I mean, on eBay, they're going to be going for $350, $450 or more, which is crazy. This is nowhere near that price, and just a cool collector's piece. Now, Bois de Portugal, a little bit more of a classic gentleman scent, not everybody's cup of tea, so keep that in mind. But man, it is cool to see these pop up. You don't get that opportunity anymore at all. So I wanted to make you guys aware. I know at least a couple of you are probably interested in grabbing a 120 if you don't have it, or if you wanted to get a backup or something. These Bois de Portugal bottles, these 120s, have like a felt texture here on this face plate. It's kind of just a fabric feel there, which is a cool little detail that none of the other ones had. They have that signature dark juice as well. Again, it's linked down below. We'll jump back into the video, but it was so cool, I just had to share it with you. Gentleman Reserve Privé by Givenchy it's a work of art, in my opinion. This is a flanker done right. This is exactly what I look for in a flanker, taking a pre-existing kind of sweet DNA, throwing in some whiskey, some sort of boozy accord, right? I love boozy fragrances, and I found time and time again, when it comes to oftentimes flankers, when they throw in a little bit of some sort of whiskey or rum or something along those lines, it does wonders for the scent. It could take a scent from being a little bit more playful and juvenile to mature and premium, and it smells like the scent costs double than what it did before. Like it raises that quality factor and that perception of value factor a lot. There's just something about it. So this does have that whiskey. Also uses some chestnut in here as well, going along with that iris and that tonka bean and vanilla and the black pepper and everything else that you got from Gentleman EDP. So just, again, a nice kind of mature take on that DNA. And of course, at this point, the prices come way down on this compared to retail and compared to when it first came out. So you can typically get, a 100 ml bottle for usually just under $100. I don't know the exact figure right now because it does vary, but it's a really, really competitively priced scent on discounters. You get so much bang for your buck out of this. Great performance, great quality, a nice unique take on this iris DNA. What's not to love about Gentleman Reserve Privé? And cool bottle, cool gradient on these as well. This next one is Armani Stronger With You. Absolutely. This one it's a favorite of mine. Always has been. This is one of my new bottles. That's why it is literally plumb full. I had one before that, is empty, so I threw it away. So again, this is a new one here. This also has chestnut. It's got rum and again, tonka bean, basically Stronger With You DNA, but with the boozy kick. You can see the trend here. This is kind of how my mind works. This is the type of stuff that I like. Now, unlike the Gentleman, this is going to be more of that playful scent. Even though it does have the introduction of some sort of rum or boozy accord, still is going to be on the younger end of things. It takes it a step away from that a little bit, but again, still very much in that youthful, just playful category, casual category. This is nothing I would be reaching for in a formal situation, whereas with something like the Gentleman, I definitely would. All of that to say, I still love this. As far as the Stronger With You flankers, I still think this is the best one, and I'm not really counting the exclusive editions like Tobacco, Oud, Leather, and so on, because they're exclusive editions and they're more often than not sold out. If we're talking the main lineup, this is still, in my opinion, the one to get. The Parfum is really good too. That would probably be in my second place, but I still think the #1 spot, as far as putting your money somewhere that it makes sense, will be stronger with you, absolutely. So I'm going to recommend this one for as long as they make it. This next one is a niche fragrance, so I did sneak this one in. Not everybody's going to like this. Not everybody's going to want to buy it, so I figured I'd throw it in here anyway, just as a little aside. It's Killian Straight to Heaven. Again, not everybody's cup of tea because it is so sweet, so boozy, so rich and heavy, and really what it is it's so realistic smelling. And because of that realistic nature that it has, you know, this is going to be something that some people might not feel comfortable wearing. It might not resonate with them all that. For me, again, the trend is here. This is what I like. And so something like this is a fragrance that I will always wear in the winter time and fall, and will recommend anytime I feel as though a realistic smelling boozy scent would be a fit for a video. I'm going to work this one in as much as I can because I think when it comes down to it, this is like perfumery art right here. This is incredible that something like this exists. Prada L'Homme Intense is a fantastic high quality designer for around $80 to $90 is usually where it sits. Somewhere around in that range. Shouldn't be paying more than $100 for this one these days. There was a point where you did have to pay over $100 for this one on discounters because it was so hard to find. So this is using that iris, that signature Prada L'Homme iris. But what they're doing is they're adding in some leather, adding in some tonka. It's sweeter, it's heavier, it's richer, and it makes it more of a cooler weather Prada L'Homme. You know, the original I think is great for spring, could even work decently well in summertime really, and it's fresh, it's soapy, it's clean. You of course could wear it in fall and winter, right? There's no rule saying that you can't. It's not going to work the best in really cold climates. It's not going to have the performance. That's where Prada L'Homme Intense comes in. It does have better performance. The added richness, the added sweetness, it actually helps it to be worthwhile wearing in wintertime, whereas at least in our climate, the original Prada L'Homme, it wouldn't stand a chance when it gets cold here. Because we're talking, you know, wind chills and real feel temperatures of single digits oftentimes really when we're in the dead of wintertime. And so you need something with some richness and some depth and just increased performance to be able to work in that type of environment. Let's move into this next one. It's a newer designer release. This entire lineup, aside for a couple, is just rock solid, and so you could really go with any. It's hard for me to rank which one is my number one, so I usually don't, but this one is definitely up there. Azzaro Forever Wanted Elixir. Nice raspberry and leather flanker. Smells wonderful, okay? This, Most Wanted Parfum and Wanted by Night are still my top three favorites. Not placing them in any particular order because that's just, again, it's challenging to do, really, and it would also just change day to day depending on what mood I'm in. But this is definitely in my top three, and at this point I don't know if anything else could be released to dethrone something out of my top three because it's a very, very solid top three now. It would have to be really good to kick one of them. And I already mentioned it, but it has raspberry leather. Nice leathery mixture with a fruity sweet raspberry. That combination works so well, and this is not the first scent to use it by far. We've seen it several times. Tuscan leather, Toomey 19 Degree, and several more. It just works. It's like tobacco and honey. You see those notes together often because it works. And for me, this is one that I love. I think it's such a great release. It's a really strong performer. Price is still a little bit more expensive than normal. Again, it's a newer scent, so usually around $110, $115 on discounters right now. The retail is going to be much more than that, not 100% sure, but price will come down more. Even at that $115, this is still more than worth it in my opinion. Let's keep it moving with Jean Paul Gaultier Les Beaux Paradise Garden. Love that beautiful green color. It's not the bottle, it is the liquid itself, which just makes it look super cool. The only downside is the more you wear, the less cool the bottle looks. I wonder if they do that on purpose. They want you to buy a new one when you get down to half full because this looks cooler. This is all about the kind of minty geranium opening with some green notes, I believe that they list off. If not, you do get this green type of smell. And then you're getting the usual suspects from a Les Beaux. You get some of that kind of tropical pineapple tonka sweetness that is existing in the rest of the lineup. And so what this does ultimately is it just makes the scent more fresh, which you would think we would have had already because Les Beaux, Les Beaux Les Parfums are summer oriented with that pineapple coconut smell, but they're very sweet, you know, and sometimes sweet in the summer doesn't work well, even though it smells like a summer scent. It's kind of an interesting relationship there. And this is kind of the solution to that. It takes that same type of smell, that same type of idea, and freshens it up, makes it more wearable for those hot, humid summer days. But because this one's so green, I actually like it a lot in spring, maybe even more so, but I still wear it into summer too. Last up for this video, we have Tom Ford Ombre Leather. When it comes down to a wearable leather scent, this is one of the best you can get. You know, a real nice, true leather. It's not like an overly heavy animalic leather. It's just a nice, clean, fresh leather that does smell kind of like a leather jacket. So it does have leather and amber. It smells great. You know, there are clones as well. You can go for off-non rare carbon, and there's a few others too if you don't want to spend whatever this is, 150 or so probably, which is expensive, but not as bad as it could be for a Tom Ford. So you do have options if you want to save money. I just figured I'd throw in ombre leather just because I didn't put any other clones, but definitely recommend this DNA a lot. If you want a wearable leather, this type of thing is it. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. Some fragrances I will continue to talk about and love and wear and enjoy for as long as they make them. When they stop making them, I won't talk about them anymore, because if you can't buy them, you know, what's the point? As of right now, everything's easy to get. I wouldn't say everything's in production necessarily. I think the Varvatos Blue might not be, but there's just so much of it out there that it's not at a sellout risk right now. But I do think it will go away at some point. Everything else, as far as I'm aware, they're making them. Don't have anything to worry about. One thing that they're definitely not making though, like I said, is that Bois de Portugal 120. If you want a classic icon, hit the link down below and pick one up before they sell out. You just, again, you don't get this option anymore, or this opportunity anymore to buy these 4-ounce creeds. And again, it's full presentation too, so you get the cap, and it's really cool. I wish they still made these bottles, because this is back when Creed was at the top of the game, before they really started to kind of do some things that were frustrating. And if you don't like it, you can just resell it at some point, and you're definitely not going to lose money, because these hold their value like crazy. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.